You know, there's an interesting thing happening right now in the healthcare industry, especially for nurses and travelers. As we see this country deal with the pandemic and deal with the increased patient influx, what's happening is a lot of these staff nurses are really getting burnt out because they're not getting paid what they're worth. As a nursing profession, we always kind of felt like we were a little underpaid anyway, but it's never been more apparent than it is right now. As these staff see the travelers come in and getting paid what they're making, they too want to leave and get paid what they're worth. And as these nursing shortages increase, you have an increased demand for more travel nurses. And that leads me to this. Today, I'm going to talk about my experience with Fastaff Travel Nursing Agency and how it was like working with them. It's cold out here, guys. Welcome back to No Ordinary Path. My name is John. I am one of those travel nurses. I travel around the country in this Windy, our travel trailer. We have a family of 5, myself, my wife, our 3 children, and our dog. So technically a family of 6. This is Windy back here. And we go all over the country taking these assignments and things like that. Today is a Real Talk Tuesday, Travel Nurse Takeover, where I'm going to talk to you about my experience working with Fastaff Travel Agency. Now, I did make another video earlier about taking crisis-related contracts. You can check that one out up here, or maybe over here. I always get it wrong. Kristen has to fix it. You can check that video out where I talk a little bit about what it's like taking a crisis contract. This is the company that I did that contract with. It was in Nashville, Tennessee. My family was looking for something short term. We wanted to be back in the Kansas City area to spend with family over the holidays and just kind of take the majority of that month off. We had 6 weeks to work with for a contract because when the old one ended in Asheville, North Carolina, we had a short period of time that I wanted to take a contract that was not 13 weeks long like most typical ones. So we were looking for something. Atlas tried their best to try to find something for us, but they just couldn't get it done. And no fault to them, they don't usually specialize in those kind of contracts. So that's where Fastaff came in. As the demand for these travel nurses continues to grow, there are people looking for more money and even shorter term contracts. Let's say you're one of those nurses. You're looking to get into this type of money that's out there and available right now. Fastaff is known for short-term contracts, generally 4 to up to 13 weeks, but the averages are 6 to 10 week contracts. They are known for their higher pay, largely 48-hour contracts, although they do have some 36, sometimes even more. I've seen one for 60 hours a week. Oh my God, I can't even imagine. Speed. They are really known for speed. They are very good at finding good talent that they can deploy quickly. We're talking about days to a week. They'll get you there and on assignment. They have been around for a while. They were started in 1989. They're considered the pioneer of rapid response nursing. Now, when I made the crisis contract video, I talked a little bit about this, and we did have a commenter say, his name is Christopher M., did point out that they are under a subsidiary of U.S. Nursing, which is a broader agency. So there's a couple of different things about them. And that they are not really considered crisis, they're considered rapid response, because they do different things like strike nursing, critical staff shortages, and of course they are taking COVID crisis contracts now. So they kind of do both, but that is something that is important, and thank you, Chris, for pointing that out to us. Like most other companies, they do have benefits packages. You know, you're going to have health insurance, your 401ks, like your typical benefit packages. They do offer free CEs, which is kind of neat for the nurses too. Somebody did ask also, you know, what if you are with another agency? What was it like with, you know, working with Atlas and then switching over to them? In this industry, it is very common for most travel nurses to utilize multiple different agencies to find contracts. So if you're working with one, it's probably expected. With me and the relationship that I have with Atlas and my recruiter there, Tasha, I called and said, hey, I'm looking for this type of contract. I gave them the opportunity to find me something first. And they just couldn't. And it was nobody's fault. They worked hard to do so. I don't feel bad about it. I told them this is what I need. And, you know, sometimes they're just not available, and that was the case. My advice to you guys is if you're looking to do that, then just, let everybody know. Be open and honest. It's always the best policy. That, and you don't want to burn any bridges, you know, just in case you want to go back to that agency after you're done with Fastaff, maybe. You want to know what it was like for me working with them, right? Well, it was a bit different, starting right off the bat. First off, I called because I didn't have an in. I called and just put me in the queue to find a recruiter. I got a hold of someone, they reached out to me, I told them what I was looking for, and to be just completely honest, it was very underwhelming, the whole experience. with the initial experience with Fastaff was very underwhelming. I did not feel like the recruiter was on my side at all, especially coming from what I had over here with Atlas to what I was experiencing over here with Fastaff was not the same, even remotely. To the point where I took my own advice that I have given in other videos to say, I'm not married to this person. I'm going to try to find somebody else to work with. So I called the company again. Actually reached out to them via email. They sent a couple of emails, just, hey, how you doing? Marketing type stuff. So I called their main number and I said, look, I'm not feeling this recruiter that I'm working with. I need somebody, that can step up. I want to be contacted. This is what I'm looking for. And they did. They sent me someone new who actually ended up being kind of one of their top recruiters. Her name is Jess. We'll have a little bit more about her at the end here, but she got the ball rolling and started giving me contracts to apply for, and we submitted to one in Tennessee, and lo and behold, got it. The process really got interesting after that. It was, okay, here's when it's going to start. You need to do this, 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 and this real fast. Now, if you've been traveling before, you've got physicals, you've got fit testing, drug testing. You got to send and update all the profiles whenever you work with the new agency. That means giving them all of your licenses, all of your ACLS and BLS, all of your certifications. You've got to have all that in place. The difference was with this agency, they wanted it like ASAP. They wanted it as soon as possible. Not only just the stuff that I needed to upload to their system, but also like get this physical done, get this done. And what else was interesting is it was not like I'm used to my agency preparing all this for me. They make the appointments at Atlas. They set up things. This is where your drug test is going to be. It's on this day. Go take care of it. Or at least it's here. You need to call and set up an appointment, and that's it. This was like, okay, you need a physical. Go get it. Oh, you need fit testing. Go figure it out. Send it to us when you're done. Okay. Where do I go? Wow, wherever you can get one. So I had to figure that out on my own. Not only that, I also had to pay for it on my own. When I inquired whether or not it would be reimbursed, they don't reimburse for that kind of stuff, is what I was told. Not only that, they didn't reimburse for my ACLS and BLS, which were also required for me to renew on this contract. So I had to set that up and then pay for it out of pocket as well. Unfortunately, was not able to do it from inside the hospital. Sometimes you can do that as a travel nurse, renew when like the hospital's doing their kind of renewal for other employees. It was all out of pocket at a separate company, so it was pretty penny on my expense. I was a little disappointed in all that. Nevertheless, still, made great money. It was a good contract. It was 48 hours. That was, there'll be more to talk about that in the actual hospital review that's going to be coming up, I think, in the next week. But the setup for this contract was quite a bit different working with this agency, quite a bit unusual, but they are known for that. That deployment, that high speed, really quick, really fast, move, you get it done on your dime as fast as possible. They are known for calling up their seasoned travelers that have been with them for a while and saying, hey, John, we've got a contract in San Francisco in 3 days. Can you be there? Yes, I can. One other thing that was really interesting about this, working with this company, is there's not usually orientation. There's no modules. There was nothing like that to get done prior to starting the assignment. We just showed up and went to work. That first day was a doozy. Look for that story. It's a little crazy in the next Real Talk Tuesday, where I kind of bring you my review of the hospital. Final thoughts. If you're gonna do this, and you're gonna do it with this agency, plan for that speed. Don't plan for too much reimbursement. I do know that they reimburse for licenses, so you will have that. They were more than willing and happy to take my TB results and other things like that I had saved up from my previous contracts with Atlas. So they probably, if I had a physical that was up to date, probably would have taken it. I didn't have one because I was on a 6 months extension for my previous contract. And they are a great agency for the money. If you are looking to take a lot of options, especially as an ICU nurse out there or ER nurse for this critical care stuff that the needs are really high right now, they're great for that. Short-term contracts are also really good for that, but also, like I said, plan for maybe 48-hour work weeks. This is the most important one. There are certainly more people that have more experience as a traveler than me. This would have been my 8th contract. I'll be on the 9th one soon. Just know that my experience working with this agency would be this. They're going to be really good for people that are experienced travel nurses, that know how to hit the ground running, that have all of their ducks in a row, know how to schedule and keep all of their paperwork together really fast. If you are new to travel nursing, Fastaff is going to be difficult for you to work with, I think. the expectation is higher on the independence and the autonomy of the nurse in dealing with getting settled into the hospital, even when it comes down to like timesheets and that kind of stuff. I'm responsible for signing everything in, making sure all of the nursing supervisors sign all your stuff. There's no app to just put time in like there are for other agencies. So my advice to you guys is, if you're looking to get into traveling because you're seeing all these big money contracts out there, would go with a standard travel nurse agency first if you're new into it. My recommendation would be to use Atlas MedStaff. They are a fantastic agency. I have great experience with them. And just because they don't do crisis contract doesn't mean that you won't have high paying contracts. There's going to be one coming up. We haven't announced it yet. You'll hear about it. I'm going to be making more money on that contract than I made on this crisis contract with Fastaff, working less hours. So just because it's not a crisis agency doesn't mean that you can't get that. Nevertheless, there are more options for higher paying short-term contracts with an agency like Fastaff. And if you want to utilize them, this is my second piece of advice. Find somebody that already has worked in that agency. Oh, it's a little windy. Find somebody that's already worked in that agency, because the queue, just plugging in, doesn't guarantee you anything. You're gonna want somebody that's got a good recruiter and a decent relationship already established with that recruiter, so they know how it works. I have a decent recruiter. She took care of me. Like I said, I was a little surprised about reimbursements and stuff like that, but if you're interested, I'd be happy to give you her information, so at least you jump in to somebody who I know has worked well with me and would probably work well with you too. So that's all I got for now, guys. Fastaff is a good agency. I don't want you to think that they're not. They're just different, and there's a couple things you need to know going into it. So I hope that you found this video informative. Thank you for watching. As always, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button. If you're brand new here, leave some comments. Let me know what you guys think. If you got other questions or concerns or anything like that about how all this went with me, and just, yeah, we'll go from there. So thanks, and we'll see you out there.